Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Parr, and on this episode of Math Up to Par, we are going to talk about place value and value of whole numbers all the way up to the hundred millions place. So let's talk about place value. Place value is the place where the numbers are located. Every number has a place, every digit has a place, and that place is important. If you misname it in the wrong place, it changes the whole number. It changes what it's worth. It changes a lot about it. Having a good understanding of place value and the value of numbers is like that building block. You know, when you're building blocks, you have to make sure the bottom part of that tower is strong, because if it's not, when you try to build on top of it, that tower is going to crumble and fall. Math is kind of that way. If you don't have a strong understanding of the place value of numbers, it's hard to build a tower because so much else of math it builds off of the concept of understanding numbers and their values. So let's look at this really, really big number that we have in front of us. As you can see, we divide our digits by commas, and each comma happens after every 3 digits. Okay, and when we look at each one of these, we see common themes. Okay, so we see over here we have millions. This section of numbers are millions. They have different names in the places, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but all of those together are millions because they each have that word right here. All of these numbers together are thousands, okay? Because they each have the word thousands. They each have a slightly different name in their place, but all of them grouped together are in the thousands family. You can kind of think of them as little houses or little families. And then over here, we have our base units. You don't see the word units written after any of these numbers, and that's because that's what they are, but we don't really say that. We just call that place the ones, the tens, and the hundreds place. So I'm going to go ahead and circle my ones place with green, my tens place with blue, and my hundreds place with red. While I have my red color, look and see if you see the word hundred anywhere else. I see it right here, and I see it over here. If you notice the hundreds place, think of it kind of as the first name, last name, okay? If the last name is million, the first name is hundred, it's always in that place, that third place over from a comma. Okay, or in this point, there's an invisible decimal point right here, which if you watch my video on decimals, we'll talk more about that. So I have my third place always has the word hundred because they have the same first name, okay? They have different last names because they're in different houses or different families, but that's the first name. So this is my hundreds place, this is my hundred thousands place, and this is my hundred millions place. If I take the color blue, I see that the tens place is in the middle over here. It's the second place over. So I also notice that the word 10 is the first name of that middle place, that second place over in my millions family and in my thousands family. Okay? My green, those are the last names of each house. Those are my base units of each house. So all of these are my solid, my units. Then I have my thousands, then I have my millions, and there's always a pattern. So if I were to extend this 3 more places to the left, I would have my billions family, okay? And using the pattern that you know about where the thousands are, where the 10,000s are, where the 100,000s are, and then where all the different millions places are, that would apply to the billions. You would then continue the pattern of billions, then 10 billions, then 100 billions. All of these digits, their places follow a pattern, which makes it simpler for us to identify what the place is and then what the value is of that number. So let's take a little time to practice. We're going to put the digits in the correct place values for this number down here, which is 501,274,386. So looking at my hundred thousands place, I know that my thousands family is right here, and the hundred thousands place is that third place over from my comma. So the number 2 is the number that goes in the hundred thousands place. My tens place I know is the second place over from that decimal point that's right there, that ones place. So I go over from my ones place to my tens place. So the 8 is in my tens place. The hundred millions place, I know that the hundreds is all the way, it's the furthest to the left. It's 3 places over until I start a new family, a new group of numbers. And so I know the millions is my furthest over here. So I know it's going to be 3 places over from that comma, which is my millions comma. And so the hundred millions place is 5. My thousands place is right here. It's the digit 4. My 10,000s place is 7. The ones place is 6. The 10 millions place is 0. The millions place is 1. And the hundreds place is 3. And feel free to pause this video and practice that as many times as you need to. Let's move on to the value. The value of a number is how much it is worth. Okay, so when we talk about place value, we're naming the place that it's in. The name of that place determines the value of it. When we're looking at these numbers, okay, we see that the 3 is right here. The 3 is in the hundred thousands place. So we can write 300,000, or we can write the number in standard form with using numbers and digits to have a 3 with 5 zeros after it. 300,000. So it can be represented both in words and in digits, in numbers. And the way I look at that is I see that this is the number 3 right here, and I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits after. And if there's 5 digits after that number, then there's 5 zeros after that number, because those zeros are placeholders. Because if I'm just talking about the value of that digit, I'm just talking about how much that digit is worth on its own without any of the other digits there. So that's why I replaced them with a 0, because that's how much that number is worth. Okay, this 7 right here is in the thousands place. So this would be 7,000. I could also write 7,000 in number form. I see that my 7 is here and I count 1, 2, 3 places after. So that means I have 3 zeros after, and my comma would go in the same place. So the value is how much it is worth. The place value is the place that it is in. When you break apart a number by its values, it is called expanded form, okay? And expanded, when you expand something, you make it bigger, okay? So when we look at this number right here, we are looking at each digit from left to right and how much it is worth. So the value of the 6 is 6 million. So I write it out like that. The next digit is 3. That 3 is in the hundred thousands place. So the value of the 3 is 300,000. My next digit is a 0. Well, my 0 is in the 10,000s place, but 0 10,000s is the same thing as 0. Anytime you have a 0 in that place, a 0 is not worth anything. So if I have 0 amounts of $10,000, I just have $0, unfortunately. So then I get to my 4. My 4 is in the thousands place, so I write 4,000. I get to this 0, which is in the hundreds place, but 0 hundreds is the same thing as 0, so I just don't even put it in there because it's not worth anything. Then I get to my 2, which is in the tens place, so that's worth 20, 2 tens. And then here I have my 5 in my ones place, which is just worth 5. There are no digits after, so there are no zeros because 5 in the ones place is just 5 ones. So let's try it with this number down here. So I have, and I'm going to try to type on this to make it a little bit easier for you to read. Okay, so let's say I have my first digit is 7. It is in the 10 millions place, which makes it worth 70 million. My next digit is 2, which is in the millions place, so it is worth 2 million. My next digit is 0. It is in the hundred thousands place, but 0 hundred thousands is just worth 0. My next digit is 1. It's in the tens place, so I have 10,000. My next digit is 4 in the thousands place, so it's worth 4,000. My next digit is 9 in the hundreds place, so it is worth 900. My next digit is 0 in the tens place, not worth anything. And then my final digit is the 3 in the ones place, which is just 3 ones. So that is how I would break that number apart into expanded form. If I were to line all those numbers up and add them together, I would get this number right here, which is 72,014,903. So let's review. Place value is the place, it's the position of the number. It's the name of the place the digit is in. The value is how much it's worth. Think of money, okay? If your 5 is in the thousands place, that's worth $5,000. A lot better than if your 5 was in the hundreds place and it was $500. I'd still love $500, but $5,000 is better. So knowing the place value helps you know the value. So the value is how much it is worth. The place value is the name of the position the digit is in. Expanded form is when you take all of the values of the number and you stretch it out really big, and that breaks apart the number by its values. All right, that's place value. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Happy practicing.